now that we've covered the basics of managing the financial side of your business, we can dig a little deeper. What we want to do now is look at your budgeting and your cash flow forecast. So your budget, first of all, and your cash flow forecast can look very similar. They are similar, but they are also different and have different purposes. So your budget, if you have a look on the screenshot now, your budget will have planned and actual for your income, for your expenses, and in your summary. Now, the reason we do that is we would like you to consider how much you can be making in and how much you will be spending going out. And then you will write these figures down into your budget. You will set your budget for the year or for the quarter or for however long you would like to set your budget for. Usually you would set your budget for the year, and then you'd work in your cash flow forecast to work that out over the course of the year. Your budget must not consist of made-up numbers. Oh, I'd like to earn £1,000 and I only want to spend 500. Let's put that in my budget. That's all good and well, but that's not a realistic budget, and you're wasting your time doing that because it's just not going to do anything for you. It's just made-up numbers. What you need to do is you need to have a calculation spreadsheet or a calculation section to your budget, or you can just use a pen and paper if that's what you want to do. But you need to calculate realistic figures to put into the plan section of your budget. You can then, at the end of the year or the quarter or whenever you like, you can then put in your actual figures to see how you've performed against your budget. You may not want to do that. You may want to do that in more detail in your cash flow forecast, or you can do both. It's entirely up to you how much you want to put into this. I can never recommend too much effort put into the financial sides, as you can probably tell by now. Calculate your income. So if you are saying you are running a course and you're putting your course income in the first row in your budget, don't just make up a number, but look at your actual course costs, the costs that you are selling the course for, so the price that you're selling, the costs, you're looking at the profit margin, and then you're looking at the number of attendees that you may have at your course. And so you would create a few extra columns further along in your spreadsheet, and we may actually include them in these spreadsheets that you're downloading. So we will include a calculation section. This section is separate from your budget. It's not linked in. It is just for you to do calculations. So first of all, in the example of running a course, you will have a column that would say number of attendees. And that column would contain your variables, because that number can change. You could have 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, a million attendees. That's your column that contains your variables. Then you will look at your price, how much people are paying you for running your course, and that's a set price, and you'll pop that in the column next to your course. And then the following one could contain your costs. So what does it cost you per person to run your course? And you'll pop that cost per person into the next column. And then the final column, you can create a calculator, and this is going to give you the number that you'll pop into your budget. So the formula could be the price less the costs, obviously giving you your total profit, multiplied by the number of attendees. If you wanted to calculate this for the year or the quarter, you would multiply by 3 or by 12 accordingly. So that way you are projecting, you are putting your budget figures in very accurately. Things can change. So if you wanted to, for example, say your costs went up by £10, you could change that number. The formula would calculate the budget amount. Or if you decided that in your next budget you wanted to have 20, you'd change that in the variable column, you'd change the number of attendees from 10 to 20, and the formula would then produce the number that you transfer over to your budget. And so I know it's not very easy to explain when I'm talking to you all the time, but if you have a look on the downloads, have a look at the examples we've put there for you, you can create your own calculations. The same goes for your expenses. Some of your expenses may be fixed: insurance, professional services, whatever the case may be, they'll be fixed and you'll put that into your budget. Some of the expenses you could calculate. So for example, for materials for your courses, that would be directly in proportion to the number of attendees. So if you know you need to cater for 10 attendees, then you'd have to put in the relevant number of materials that you were doing on your course into the materials row, and then you would have your calculator to calculate. If I had double the amount, I'd put double the amount into my budget column. The reason I'm telling you all of this random details is so that you understand that your budget needs to be as accurate as possible. You need to sit down and think realistically about the numbers you're going to be putting in there, and the best way to help you get as close as possible to realistic numbers is to calculate exactly what needs to happen in order to give you those numbers. For your budget, your income and your expenses, you can calculate to get a better idea of what realistic figures should go into your budget. So that's very simply how you create your budget, and how you use your budget is you stick to it. Your budget is set. Of course, you can smash your income targets by all means. Smash the budget when it comes to income if you need to, but your budget is also set to protect you. So if you know you have a £50 a month advertising budget, for example, and you get invited by various people to advertise in various places, you can very clearly and firmly say, I can't, I've already used my advertising budget. The great thing about this is it doesn't make it personal. You're not rejecting them by saying, I don't want to advertise with you. You're making it business. My budget is used up for this month, I can't. Boom. You're not saying I can't afford it. You're not saying I really don't want to. It's not personal. And this gives you a greater freedom and flexibility in your business to make decisions and to be firm with your decisions. You have a budget, you stick to it. If you are entertaining, you're taking clients out for dinners, and you have in your budget a set amount of money for entertainment, then you know you can make decisions that I can't go and entertain more clients. I've used up my budget. I need to come up with something more creative to take care of my clients this month because I've used my budget. And so can you instantly see now how having a budget and not having a budget will have a massive effect on your business already, simply from having a budget. You now have greater control over your finances. You are able to communicate more professionally with people because now you're talking in terms of budgets, not in terms of feelings or making it personal, and you can also paint a clearer picture of what the future of your business may look like. So we're going to transfer that over to the cash flow forecast now. You could also apply the principles of budgeting to your personal finances if you're not already doing that. So why not get really savvy, get really good at managing not only your business finances but your personal finances too, especially if you're a sole trader, because they quite closely connected, aren't they? Let's move on to your cash flow forecast. If you take a look at the screen, you will see that we have set a cash flow forecast up for you to help you. You'll also notice that it looks very similar to your cash book and it looks very similar to your budget. It is similar, but it's also very different. Your cash flow forecast does exactly what it says it does. It measures the flow of the cash. So it measures the way the money moves. It measures the timing of the money coming in and out. Whereas your budget is just telling you this is how much you need to spend each month or each quarter or each year. Your cash flow forecast will then monitor the movement of the money. Also, you will then reconcile your cash flow forecast to your bank statement. So your cash flow forecast is very much about the actual money and how the actual money is moving in your business through the months. And so your columns will be the same or similar to your budget and your cash book. In fact, I can't see any reason why they would be different at all. So transfer over your column descriptions in your very first column. And then have a look at the summary section. The summary section in the planned, it will tell you if you are balancing So actually go back to your budget, because that applies to your budget too. You need to get your budget to work. You need to fiddle with your budget, and you need to make sure that the numbers work, because you can't have a negative figure in the summary section. The same with the cash flow forecast. You can't have a negative figure there. That means your budget is not working. If you notice your budget is not working, you need to rearrange the figures. Either you need to figure out how to earn more money, or you need to figure out how to reduce your expenses. So I missed that out. A very, very, very important purpose of a budget is to make sure the money works. Same with the cash flow forecast. Have a look at the cash flow forecast summary. In your plan each month, you need to have a positive figure there. It needs to work. And then in your actual, that will actually be what comes up. And then the difference will be the difference between your planned and actual. So, did you actually achieve your target, or did you fall short, and by how much? So these formulas are all preset for you. It does all the work for you, and it's fantastic. So let's have a look at your income. In the income section, you will input your income that you project for each month. The first thing you'll do is you'll factor in any downtime. So you may have, I'm going to use round and small numbers so that it's easy for you to quickly follow and add up. So it's easy for me to add up. These are just made up round small numbers, all right? Your business will obviously be very different. So say, for example, in your first row, you're predicting your January income to be £100. And by December, you would like to have increased that. So you will then put into your spreadsheet, say 100, and then in February 200, and March 300, and April 400. So you're adding 100 each month, working your way up all the way to the end of the year. So you'll see a significant increase in your income. However, just adding 100 isn't realistic. It's just made up. What you actually need to do is calculate how much you're currently making, or if you haven't started your business, calculate how much you think you will make in the first month, and then you need to calculate how much you're going to increase every month based on your calculations. So in order to increase by 100 in your courses row, for example, then you would have to calculate how many people you'd have to have attend in addition to the previous month, and then you'd need to take that number and add it on. You can't just make numbers up according to what you think you'd like to make. You really need to do the maths and calculate how you're going to make that amount of money. The other thing, like I said, you need to factor in is your downtime. Do you have holidays planned? Are there times when you can't be in your business and your income will drop? In this case, you'll look at the areas of income that rely on you, your time for money, and you could factor in either a replacement, somebody that can come in, but you would obviously have to pay them, so your profit margins would be significantly less, or you can just make sure that your passive income, that you've done something to give that a good boost to cover for you in your times when you don't have as much income from your other streams. The other thing you can do is you can accumulate some reserves in advance so that when you have downtime, you know that there's a good amount of reserves to see you through that period. So there are various ways that your cash flow forecast can really help you plan your finances. How are you going to grow your business? What do you need to do? What contingency plans do you need to put in place? The same applies to expenses. You need to have a look at things that will automatically increase based on your income increasing. Your expenses will be directly in proportion, so they will increase proportionately. How about things that don't come out every month? For example, in our case, we have our Maximize Women's Business magazine. It's a quarterly magazine, and so therefore my print costs for 2 months of the quarter will be 0, and my print cost for the 3rd month in the quarter will be, for example, say £1,000. Again, just round made up numbers. So in my cash flow forecast, I would have in my print column, my print row, I would have 0, 0,000, 0, 0,000, 0, 0,000. So can you see how predicting the flow of money in my business will help me be careful and make decisions? I have expenses every quarter. My print expenses is only every 3rd month. However, my income for the magazine is monthly and ad hoc. So people, advertisers, will pay either in chunks or they will pay ad hoc. As I sell, the money will come in. And so I can't say that wherever there's £1,000 printing expense, I'm going to have the necessary £1,000 in to pay that printing expense, because the income doesn't come in consistently like the expenses do. So in this case, I would need to make sure that I've put aside reserves so that when that big expense comes, I've got the money that I need to pay for it. And so this is how your cash flow forecast can really help you plan. So use your cash flow forecast to make decisions. Use your cash flow forecast to project, and use your cash flow forecast to figure out how you can grow your business. There's so much you can do with your cash flow forecast, but it's up to you to be realistic in your planned rows and to diligently record the actuals. Because if you find a few months into your cash flow forecast that some of your plans are completely unrealistic, there's no reason why you can't just change it and try and adjust so that you can get back on track. This will help you be more realistic about your finances. It will help you make projections and decisions financially. And also, you know what to expect. You know what's coming. You know that how much you could make at the end of the year if you stick to your cash flow forecast. If you find that you are overspending in a particular area in your expenses, you can quickly nip it in the bud and make sure that you get back on track in your cash flow forecast. Other things that you can do is you can then, for example, push yourself to achieve a certain amount of targets, a certain number of sales, whatever the case may be, so that you are achieving the numbers that you put in your cash flow forecast for your income. So this is a fantastic tool for any business, and this is a very basic overview, and I don't see why any one of you watching this video won't be capable of producing a cash flow forecast and using it to strategically and intentionally take control of your business finances, make intelligent, informed decisions about the finance of your business, and strategically and intentionally push yourself to grow your business exponentially, step by step. You're growing your business because you are in control of your finances. You know what's going on in your business, and you can then be effective in growing your business. The other thing that has come up is that some people find it difficult to work with the numbers, and they look at the numbers and they just feel overwhelmed. What you could do is you could create a tab on your spreadsheet for graphs and charts. And so you put the numbers in, but you read it in pictures. You read it in graphs and charts. So you punch all your numbers in as you should, but when you want to analyze the data or understand how you're doing, you click over to your graphs and charts tab and you see everything in nice, colorful images so that you can quickly and easily understand and analyze your finances. So that's a little overview of how you can really get to grips with your business finances. You will find a great deal of satisfaction once you get into this. At first, if you're not accustomed to this, you may find that you're a bit overwhelmed or uncomfortable by it all, but I promise you, push through, because once you start seeing the results, you are going to feel over the moon at how you are proudly growing your business from strength to strength. And this will set you apart from business owners who are just winging it. Business owners who don't have a clue what's going on in their business. They will make a degree of money, they'll make a little bit of income, but they will never achieve their full potential like you will, because you are now running your business. You are now a proper businesswoman, you're a business owner, you're taking the first steps towards creating your system for your business. So enjoy managing your finances, enjoy the fantastic results that you'll get, and if you have any questions or any trouble at all, as always, please get in touch. Our contact details are on the website, and we'll be more than happy to support you as best we can. We can offer one-on-one private mentoring. We can do this in person or using Skype or Zoom, or we can introduce you to our social media group where you'll get an awful lot of support from business owners just like you who have been in the same boat and are a little further along in the journey and happy to offer you some friendly support and advice. So please get connected with the Women's Business Club. That's why we exist. We're here for you and we want to see your business flourish. And if you'd like to leave a review of the course so far, pop over to our Facebook page and click on the reviews tab, and we'd love to have a nice review from you. So have a brilliant day and get cracking with your finances. Thank you, and see you over in the next video.